एंड नेटवर्किंग मेरा बुक का नाम ही था. मेरा एग्जांपल बीएफ हैज दिस कल्चर कि एवरी बुक यू हैव टू राइट योर फेवरेट
Yeah,
लंच
yeah.
बिफोर. So my first book was had your network is your net worth.
Welcome back to the Digital Edge podcast with Dhruv Shah. We are back with another episode where we discuss marketing and business. Today's guest is a close friend of mine whom I have known since my engineering days. I've had the pleasure to watch him build one of India's largest youth marketing platform called Viral Fission. In this episode, we are going to unpack the journey of the man himself, explore the concept of community building, and discuss how important networking is in today's day and world. So, without further ado, let's welcome the guest of the evening, Rishab Shetty. Welcome to the Digital Edge podcast, Rishab. Thank you so much for removing time for this.
Thank you so much, Dhruv, for inviting me. I think this is for me one of the first, I think probably the first podcast which I'm ever doing. So I'm equally excited and stressed, both and nervous, you can say, not stressed, both at the same time, being a little a camera shy person.
That's very surprising to know because I've read a lot of articles. You have been on cover pages, 30 under 30, a young entrepreneur doing dynamite work in the marketing field, and you are saying that you are shy of camera.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me.
So I'll just explain a little about the podcast. So this is the first time I'm also doing it here. I've recorded the first episode. You probably might have seen a bit about it.
Hmm.
And I am just trying to have a small conversation about marketing and business and what's happening in our world. And especially at our age, I think there are a lot of young entrepreneurs coming up. So I thought it will be great to have you on board and listen to your life journey, your stories, and
Hmm.
since you have been very successful with
Hmm.
the Viral Fission, so wanted to take a sneak peek into what right things you are doing and what the learnings users can take from it. So
Okay.
uh, I, I'll start with asking you what's up, what's happening right now, what are you doing, where is Viral Fission, and what are your plans right now?
Okay. So basically, currently, what I'm doing, I mean, for me, Viral Fission is like my baby, and I'm just nurturing it from my forever end, jitna ho sake. I mean, uh, in terms of what we are doing, we have a network of now over 1 lakh students pan India. Now, how to make sure that to thrive on it, to make it more successful, and we are also doing a lot of advance and developments in technology as well. So we have created our own app, more portal. I mean, I'll discuss in in depth in about it in the, I mean, in the time as well now as we proceed in this podcast. But focusing more on more healthy community building, and also like our motive is always to build the gap, bridge the gap also between the students and the most aspiring brands they want to work with. So right now, the main goal is to make sure to make the community much more stronger and bigger. Because when we started Hum, we were only hardly 50 to 100 kids. So even that has been a journey over 5 years. So now, sort of that has been done, and now what is the next step? What is a big leap? That is what we are now working towards.
That's very interesting to hear. So I have a follow-up question on it because not many people here right now know the concept of the marketing that you're doing, which is called probably youth marketing.
Hmm.
So can you throw some light about on what it is in simple terms, like what is the process, how do you go about it, and how did you come up with this strategy?
Okay, so firstly, I would also like to acknowledge it's me and my brother who have started this firm. Shreyas, he's also the co-founder of the Viral Fission company. Uh, I'll try to explain in a very layman language about what exactly Viral Fission is. So Viral Fission is basically a community of college-going students, so basically a Gen Z community who may not be like an influencer, who may have like 1,050, 60 followers. They might be as simple as from 500 followers, 700 followers, but someone who is very active in their campus field. Someone, example, how we were in our college days. Example, you were in sports. I know for a matter of fact, I was into a lot of debates and MU. So we ourselves have a different kind of a group in our own circle. Like You may have a community of cricket fan lovers. I may have a community of someone like debaters, or someone who is lot into PMI, IEEE, all of these sort of small organizations, they used to be part of their college life. So, example, now when you see any brand, example, chocolate brand, name it Cadbury, example. So, if any Cadbury brand, if you see like uh, an ad you might have seen on a billboard, maybe Amitabh Bachchan saying "Kuch meeta ho jaye," or maybe on a TV commercial ad or something like that. But post that, when you see, for me, say, Dhruv is, suppose example, a very close friend of mine from college. Now, if I see Dhruv posting it on IG story, just "Ki, I
Mm.
had this Cadbury and it was pretty good enough." Now I am already, it's a recall factor. For example, I've already
Yeah.
seen that. मैंने billboard भी देख लिया है. अब तो मेरा best
Mhm.
friend भी story डाल रहा है.
Mm.
So and for me it becomes, oh, ठक 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 वो ब्रांड मेरे दिमाग में ठुक गया है अभी कि भाई, now I have to do, कुछ तो देखता हूँ मैं क्या करना है करके. May or may
Mm.
not do is fine, because but the product has reached the consumer minds by then. I mean, ठप करके. Now it's the product's quality or the product pull towards the brand. मतलब उसी में बहुत फैक्टर्स होते हैं, प्राइसिंग होता है एंड ये
Yeah.
एंड वो करके, बट चलो मैं उतने डेप्थ में नहीं जाता. But basically it's people like us who has come together, and now they work for different brands. Now the idea behind starting majority engineering college या कोई भी college अभी भी, is the matter of fact, majority of our CVs used to lie empty. Either we used to
Yeah.
put our dads या कोई फ्रेंड के पापा का कंपनी या ऐसे कुछ करके हम अपने सीवी में घुसा देते थे.
Yeah.
तो the CV had no substantial value
Mm.
अगर तुम्हारे पास कोई कॉन्टैक्ट नहीं हो तो. So I
Correct.
wanted कि why can't such bigger brands come in our CV? Now today,
Mm.
70% of Viral Fission kids, now even if they have worked for very minimal, example Spotify हो गया, Myntra हो गया, कोई भी
Mm.
उन्होंने brands के साथ काम किया, they like to they like to boast about it. Yeah,
Boast.
I'm an ambassador of this brand. I'm
Yeah.
doing this and that. So a, that works for them also, and that works for brands also, because all of these students become brand advocates. अरे भाई इसका. So automatically,
Mm-hmm.
subconsciously in your mind, they are in that category of segment. They're thinking only of that brand. So that is the
That.
beauty of community marketing, because the community stands for it. Like that is our brand. Example, music हो गया, तो ये मेरा ब्रांड है. ये हो गया, तो दैट इज द काइंड ऑफ I can say an audience which we are trying to create. And in the journey of the entire community marketing, community भी upliftment काफी होता है ना. मेरे काफी बच्चे हैं, when I say, मुझे आदत हो गया 5 साल में, because I keep roaming and building the community जितना मुझसे possible हो सके. So वो मेरे ही बच्चे निकलता है, तो they are now right now working and interning with the brands which they have worked during
Works
Biofusion
for.
internship. So that is
Okay.
the beauty of it. So anyway, so it is the
Yeah.
culmination of all these students uh, uh, who work for different brands. So that was the main objective of creating Viral Fission, and that was the aim. Now, yeah, I think I
Okay.
have gone everywhere, but I tried to summarize the jitna ho sake.
No, no, that was a pretty good explanation in simple terms.
Yeah,
So what
and
I
also, sorry,
understand,
I would just like to take
yeah,
2 minutes. I will also, we also have a lesson TBH, which is a content page,
yeah,
which creates, if Viral Fission is more of seriousness, which includes lot of certificate points, brands. So listen TBH was the page we created. कि that is something जो canteen पे हम चर्चा करते हैं, like gossip करते हैं या बात करते हैं या what is love, friendship, or that is the kind of
yeah,
content which we create on Listen TPH, which is all organic.
okay,
Now that is also pretty much doing pretty well. Yes.
yeah. Yeah, actually, I have been following TBH since a long time, and you're coming up with pretty good series with short format content. So I don't relate much with it now because I think it's targeted at the Gen Z audience, the ones going to the
Correct.
college. But
Correct.
I can relate it to, our own times when we were doing all those
Nostalgia
stuff in
feeling which
college.
we get.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's pretty good. And I think I think it was a very nice, elaborate explanation about youth marketing. I have a few follow-up questions on that. So, what I understand is that you make those some popular kids as use them as influencers, right?
Mm.
In their own community and college.
Mm.
So, do they do the content creation for you and the brand, or is it that the brand provides them content? Because this is still a new concept for all of us.
Hmm.
because it sounds so easy. Like
Correct.
anybody can be a part of it, anybody can do this. So,
Correct.
A, what are they getting? Like you did mention what they get in return for this, but
Yeah.
in terms of tangible results. So, if I am a college going student, I have say 500 to 1,000 followers only.
Hmm.
But because I have a smaller circle, they are a close-knit circle. So,
Hmm.
like you said, if I put out some review about a brand or
Hmm.
I promote a brand, they are more likely to, at least give it a try.
Hmm.
So, how does this content creation happen? Because this is a big chain
Correct.
that you have created.
Okay, so it is not only like only content creation or your followers, yeah, uspe, yeah, like you have to put out a review of brand. Example, if as any college you name it, and we may have more than I think 10 to 20 kids minimum out there in each college. So
Yeah.
we have more than 3,000 campuses across pan India, right? Now you rightly mentioned because the community. I mean the players before us or whoever had a touch base into this or whatever, how it was very transactional, like uh, you do this, you get this, you do
You
this, you
get
get
this.
this, which is also fine, which works for students, but that was not our purpose ever. VF purpose was always first to build a community out there. I mean, we never wanted the relationship between us and the community to be extremely transactional. That's the whole reason we built out different kind of avenues out there. Now I'll come to a point of content creation. So how we do, example, any campaign comes to us, keep we want to do in this specific market, and this is the product we want to, this is the commercial which has come out and we want to popularize it, or we want to, have organic conversation. So our
Hmm.
biggest USP in Viral Fission is organic
Yeah.
conversation, something which we built out. So we create our team in VF, we create and we devise the strategy and mainly comms in such a way that it becomes very interesting for the kids to do it. So, an example, when we bought up Spotify also as a client, so for them it's like, yeah, I may not get a chance to be associated with it in my college placements or in my college time, but if Viral Vision is providing me with that opportunity, then why not? So they themselves do the content creation. Now, there are
Yeah.
different kind of briefs you receive. There are one briefs with the brand says this is what to the T you have to follow. Like
Yeah.
ये करना, यही करना. There is no creative freedom given, but fine. But it makes works easier also for us.
Yeah, of course.
And what we also do on our end is, Dhruv, is that we see that if this is community fit or not. There are at times briefs which we receive, which we also feel कि ये शायद community नहीं
In
करेगा, because they are
Okay.
not, so we have missed out also, ऐसा नहीं कि नहीं, but that has helped us to build our own set of portfolio.
Yeah.
We know this is what community does, and this is what, because we have
Okay.
burnt fingers also at times when we started off. So they only do the content creation. They only do everything. We give them the guidelines, and in the back,
Okay.
we also provide a lot to the community.
So, uh, let me ask you from a brand's perspective.
Hmm.
So, like, say, I'm also doing freelancing, I'm doing performance marketing. I reach to clients, or clients reach up to me for their marketing requirements.
Hmm.
Uh, so naturally, clients coming to you, they are also paying you a certain amount to get something in return in
Hmm.
terms of this youth marketing, the vision that you have created. So,
Hmm.
what are the metrics that you deliver, or what are the metrics that are useful for brands when you do this youth marketing?
Hmm.
Because what I understand from this is mainly it is for brand awareness. So,
Hmm.
if you are coming up, even if it's a big brand, but they might be coming up with new divisions, new products,
Hmm.
or any new strategy that they want, people to know about. I think
Hmm.
it's basically that. So, when it comes to a metric. So, like, I'm narrowing it down to that.
The similar metric like which we use in our media terms of digital media, your what is your cost per impression, what is your cost per engagement, what is how many views we have got. Because for a Pepsi campaign, we had an engagement over more than a million, more than I think one and a
Okay.
half million something. I'll come to the proper metrics about it
Yeah.
as well. But it's the proper metrics the brand defines by ki what was your, how much was your impressions, how much was your
Okay.
engagement. Because now when you upload a story right now, you can get कि तो कितने views आए. Now when you do a reel also, you know how many views have come. So when it comes
Okay.
to numbers, the brand goes by those numbers as well. It's not, oh, everything is on air. And it is nothing
Okay.
not only related to only new product or existing product, but it's also something like example, we drive registrations, we drive indirect indirect sales as well.
Y-
Obviously your brand awareness leads to your brand curiosity. If your brand awareness is done right, if your brand building and your the buzz creation is done right, it leads to brand curiosity, and the brand is a perfect fitment for the consumer. uh, then it leads to purchasing, because Gen Zs may not have a purchasing power
Power.
in a for a larger ticket size segment, but they definitely are a big influencing power at at their housing.
So just because on this topic, so like you said, Gen Z is, I think, perceived to be as the most difficult customers for
Hmm,
any marketing
hmm,
activity, any brand,
hmm,
because I feel they're not very loyal in
hmm,
terms of consuming, because their attention span is very small. The
hmm.
trends keep changing and they keep following the trend as well.
Correct,
So I think whatever the marketing or the market or the brand talks about, I think they pick it up very well. So that is where I think Viral Fission takes advantage of it. But I think it also goes away in a click, because I think they are not very keen on sticking to one thing, or they are very keen on trying out new things.
correct.
So,
So it
so
is, huh? Go ahead.
no, so I was just saying, so how, I mean, how do you tackle those challenges? Because, like you said, for probably Dairy Milk or Spotify or the OTT platform that you were talking about,
We
I
didn't
think,
talk for Dairy Milk. Huh? I just gave it
yeah,
hypothetically.
example.
Yeah, yeah.
So Dairy Milk is also coming up with, so many products. There are other competitors who are coming up with new chocolates, and every new brand, has their own strategy to target this youth. So
Hmm.
how do you keep your strategy sustaining and keep them in relationship with us for a longer time?
Yeah. See, I'll start with when you said the statement that Gen Z is very volatile and it keeps changing, because we need to understand the root problem of it, because it's the access to so much information
Yeah,
which they have. Like when we were when we were at that age, we didn't had that much access. So even we would have been so fickle minded about it कि आज ये नहीं वो नहीं, because हमको दिखता
mm,
ही नहीं था. Now for these so much of exposure of to so much of content which they already have, so we need to keep in mind it's not their fault, because it's the social media in general has become so much accessible to everyone, be it on WhatsApp se leke, I mean every single thing. Yeah, I mean we can
yeah,
share
yeah,
PDF. I mean, so for them, that's the whole reason VF did, right? That's the reason we built the community first. We were, I mean, in 2019, we were a COVID born company. Okay. When we started, I mean, if I'll talk about my journey later, how VF started and everything, but we preponed our entire shift from November. It was supposed to happen in 2020 launch. We did it in March, April. Because we know that now it's COVID, students are sitting home, they have nothing to do outside. So content is the only way, which is the key, which is going to
y-
play a bigger factor. And that's the reason we got that pull, and we got from 100 to 5,000 ambassadors at one go. And then we jumped on it. Karke. So coming to your question now, how to keep the Gen Z rooted is basically if you show the Gen Z that loyalty as well. Now that the kids are, why are the kids attached to VF program? It's not only because we provide them brands and everything, that was at the start, but now it's for the community building, right? So if you build a community around them, and if you sustain that for much longer, trust me, Gen Z also will stay for much longer, because that is absolutely correct and bang on key. It won't take time for them to switch to one side, but to how to continuously sustain them, that has to be every brand's POV, including us.
yeah,
कि भाई हमें, because हम भी from what we started to what we are right now, we have evolved so much. We are not still the same, because what worked 5 years will not work now, or what
yeah,
even last year won't work now, because Gen Z, as I rightly said, every not only Gen Z is volatile, but every city also acts very differently. A Delhi audience will act very differently as
yeah,
compared to a Bangalore audience, to a Mumbai, or to a Kolkata audience. So every zone also is very different. So you have to take into that much amount of accountability when you're doing any kind of thing. So that is the challenge. But it's also very exciting that you're studying and continuously
yeah,
experimenting and doing something new, so that to
yeah.
keep the customer intact for us.
Yeah, I think that is a very good point, which I also keep telling my peers and my clients, or
Hmm.
also international clients who approach me. There is one question that they ask, will you be able to adapt to the international audience?
Correct.
Now, I do have that international experience because I was in Ireland and I worked for a US agency there as well. So I did get the opportunity to work for US, UK, Europe. So
Yeah.
I have that. But I always feel that no one should ask an Indian marketer about this thing because India is just one country on map. But if
Correct.
you go inside from a marketer's point of view, I think after every 100 villages, the language changes, the culture changes, the religion changes, the beliefs change.
True.
So does your marketing efforts and strategy has to change.
Correct.
So a thing that works in Tamil Nadu will definitely not work in North India. Might
100%.
not even work in Bangalore also.
100%.
Yeah,
Correct.
they're neighboring cities. So I think we can even, divide it into North India, South India, West India. We have to treat like each city differently.
True.
And because we are also so much into, I mean, religiously involved in everything, I
True.
think there are so many festivals, there are so many seasons that come up. I think we
True.
have to cater and take advantage of that as well.
True.
So more than it's challenging, but like you said, it's fun to, study and understand how to do the audience segmentation, how to crack that code in with the Indian audience.
And how to
Yeah,
respect the boundaries as well. If in community, I cannot expect them to work during their call. I mean, during their exam times. So we take note of
yeah,
that. I cannot expect them to in Kolkata. I cannot do something in Durga Puja because it's a big thing for them.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
if a Mumbai's Ganpati right now is coming to our
yeah,
house, big thing is an emotion. So
yeah,
we need
yeah,
to respect that boundaries and emotions. Obviously, when there is, I mean, when we have Diwali campaigns and everything, we have to. But we make sure our endeavor is to try our level best that this is something we should not touch it at that time because it the results won't come out as
yeah,
effective as we want karke. So that is even for our brands also we tell that they have their exam times right now. This is the exam time majority of because right now now so many of the institutes have become so privatized so that now every nook and corner are exams going on. So I
yeah,
cannot agree on that, but at least majority have the university exams right now going on, so it won't make sense for them. Even
yeah,
if I go ahead and even if it's the right time, you may have a product launch also at that time. But
yeah,
I know the community won't pursue it because for them, their priorities now for any generalizer, you have to go in such micro level that any student will not only have his personal life, professional life, career, love life, all of these, and then they have this to
yeah,
pursue brand and to go. So you need to respect all of those as well when you're devising a strategy and a plan for the
yeah.
community or in terms of the marketing as well.
That's very nice of you to say that because I feel that now that young entrepreneurs like you and me and our age are coming up, we are more, prone to respect our employees or our community's time, and
Hmm.
we do understand they do have a life. They are
Correct.
not just doing this work for the, entire day in, day out, which
Correct.
was not probably at our time. I think we both started our journey from GroupM in
Correct.
marketing, and you know how many long hours we worked,
Yes.
even past midnight.
Yes.
So now I think it is coming up the Western culture, I think with our young crowd, that we are respecting each other's time. We are just concerned about that the work should be done in the given deadline. You
Correct.
do it whenever you want. Just needs to be done.
Correct.
So
Yes, I
I
mean,
think,
also like to add to that also, if that is something which has made us today what we are, which I always say, like I have
yeah,
zero complaints, even if I think even we had zero complaints, even we had because that time for us we got an engineers getting an
yeah,
opportunity to work in a media firm itself was a very big thing. But
yeah,
apart from that also because I always say ki we can complete work on time if we are very efficient enough.
yeah,
But that staying up late at night, I'm not encouraging that culture, firstly. But in case if the company has a very bigger brand and it's a brief, and I remember we stayed up late at night for a pitch deck. I will not name,
yeah,
but I know ki, because but that's the excitement ki this we should get it. This is we want this
yes,
anyhow karke and to stay
yeah,
up and to at that time brainstorming with our seniors and with because we were just
yeah,
21 we started, if I'm not mistaken. So at
yeah,
I'm speaking to 35-year-old, 40-year-old, getting their perspective, their knowledge about it, then making a plan. And that time digital wasn't even big. It was traditional media,
Yeah.
print radio
Yeah.
mainly, and digital had a very small share at that time. But
Yeah.
that helped me very honestly, especially GroupM has genuinely helped me a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not bragging because it's a bigger firm or whatever, because I will name all my mentors, like be it Anil Satyaraju sir, be it Shibu George, everyone. I mean, till date, anything happens, I message them or I call them, and that is a networking which I've always believed in. Like,
Yeah.
staying in touch. I'm not saying only for personal purpose or something like that, but in
Yeah.
general,
Yeah.
greeting them on their birthdays, कितना ही जाता है उसमें करने में.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because that's a relation which maintains. I mean, Shibu sir gave me a client. Anil Satyaraju sir has helped me so much with different kind of clients. Even Prem, I
Okay.
received a lot of guidance from Nivi as well. I mean, all these are much seniors to me, but
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, I mean, I think even it's something in networking in which you're also very good at. But these people have something which have
Yeah.
genuinely helped me a lot uh, during my growing days at VF. So
Yeah.
staying up later, I mean, yes, I mean, community का culture को respect करना is very important. But yeah, sorry, I just went very off. Uh,
No, no, that's great. Actually, it brought back a lot of memories for me as well. And in fact, like you took these names, so I just went back 10 years to our Bangalore days. So I will move on to the networking part, which is I
yes,
think a very important part of your career as well. But
yes,
before that, I'll just like to say a little about what you said. I have a contrasting opinion. We enjoyed it definitely at that
yes,
young age, and
yes,
we were bachelors. We were away from our home. We had nothing
correct,
much to do also.
correct.
So probably we didn't have a life, if we want to say in terms of Gen Z
Yes,
language.
yes.
And we were hungry to, prove ourselves from in a new field, from engineering to marketing. So
Correct.
yeah, so I was like having the time of my life sitting with these big people, picking their brains and understanding how the pitch strategy is working, how they build a brand, how they go about their own process as well.
True.
So, like you said, GroupM for me was a foundation.
Correct.
I think for my career, I worked there only for probably 2 years if you see the time length.
Yes.
But like I said, we worked, I think, double the time, the double
Correct.
the work hours.
Correct.
So I would say it was 4 years of experience and the best experience that I ever had and the best team I worked for. I
Correct.
think so. Prem, you took the name. I think Nivedita, I think one of
Yes.
the best marketers I have,
Yes.
known.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
just yeah,
And a lovely human being as well.
a lovely human being, yeah.
Yes.
She was actually one of the person I thought, okay, because I had already, heard about bad bosses, bad managers. There were jokes going around about, every boss is a jerk kind of a
Yes.
thing. And I'm
Correct.
like, oh, she's just like my peer. She's treating me, respecting me,
Correct.
even though I'm a trainee. And
Yes.
she's actually trying to help me grow. It's not just dumping work. She
Correct.
was, teaching me. So
Correct.
it was I think, yeah, brought back a lot of memories. I had
Yes.
a great time there. So I think I'll move to the most important question that I wanted to ask you because this is something I have learned from you and still learning. I'm not really great at networking. Like you said, I think I feel guilty now that I've not been in touch with so many people that I should have been
Correct.
because when I come in contact with them even after a few years, we connect as if we have never lost touch. So
True.
I feel, oh, I should have, like blossomed this relationship more. They do so much for me. They are, even trying
Which
to
they
help me.
and did not need to do it also. It's not something we
Yeah,
are, but they just did it out of
yeah,
uh, group and made me what a kind of a leader which I am today is
yeah,
because of that. And networking, मेरा book का नाम ही था. मेरा example VF has this culture कि every book you have to write your favorite
yeah,
line which you
yeah,
want. So my first book was had your network is your net worth
yeah,
करके. Because
yeah,
for the I mean in I think in India or in general also in any kind of for an entrepreneur life or for a business, I feel networking is very, very, very much important. I mean, if you see my LinkedIn, I have made sure my LinkedIn is continuously
yeah,
updated with something or the else. Like I'm constantly spending 1 hour on LinkedIn. Even on Instagram, I'm not a person
yeah.
who posts a lot, who puts I do a lot of
You do
reposts.
put stories.
I don't post a lot. I'm not genuinely not a
Yeah,
person who put myself out there. I said
yeah,
I started off podcast वैसे कि is the one of the first. I don't like to put myself out there, but I want to see what's happening, and I like more of
Yeah,
personalized conversations. Like I
yeah,
like seeing. I mean, I've always been intrigued by what's happening in that person's life, and
yeah,
is there something which I can make out of it, or is there something which
yeah,
to me, or it's something that general conversation just to keep in touch. Now, I mean,
yeah,
there are very random. I think I messaged you also. क्या कर रहा है आजकल? What
yeah,
is?
yeah,
It's just कि even that. I mean, that is also missing right now nowadays. People
yeah,
don't. I mean, people don't WhatsApp, or people just don't have that conversation. So meeting, I understand people are very busy, and especially in Mumbai, the infrastructure is such. It takes a lot of pain. I mean, apart from weekends, but in general also because you never know what connects what. I mean, I
yeah,
always tell the kids also ki there's no harm in sending someone a happy Diwali. There's no harm in some wishing the person on a
yeah,
birthday,
yeah,
and then leading to a conversation. It's not necessary that you need to get something out of it.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
that is not networking. But maintaining relations with as many as people as possible, but not and networking, I always feel people should not go overboard also and don't respect the boundaries of a private life, and don't enter that space karke. There has to be a boundary between
hmm,
networking as well. But example, if I'm trying to Bangalore, it should be my endeavor to meet my bosses, to meet those people. If I'm going to Delhi, if I know someone out there, so at least I know what's happening in that market.
yeah,
What's I mean, if I GroupM I left in 2015, 2016. This VF I started in 2019, 2020. It's a gap of 4, 5 years. If I wouldn't have maintained the network, if I wouldn't have maintained
yeah,
those conversations with people, I wouldn't have led what
yeah,
it is. Not networking not only has helped me in clients or anything as such or maintaining, but it also helped me in my hiring as well.
yeah. Building the company in itself,
Building
I
my team,
understand. Yeah,
it is very, I feel the most important and the crucial part, which is free of cost, anyone can do is networking, very honestly.
yeah,
Networking does not mean go to fancy parties and all of those things. Nahi, that is also a part. I do
yeah,
not say no for it. But I have done it without doing all of those things. I don't have a
yeah,
very few I have a networking which I might have met someone at parties. It's more of
yeah,
personalized conversation. You meet and then you take it ahead, you add them on LinkedIn, then you see how that blossoms up. So that is something which has genuinely helped me a lot in very small from like meko to, I mean I talk to Uber drivers also. So when I'm traveling, I'm taking Uber most of the time, so I talk to them.
that.
मुझे I'm not even kidding, मुझे लाइसेंस में एक बार मुझे काम आ गए थे ऐसे ही वो लोग कि अरे आपने because
Oh,
for them also the passenger don't talk to them every now and then, and for
yeah,
me just कि if I'm having a 1 hour journey,
yeah.
instead of
You
looking
should.
at my phone and spoiling my eyesight, let's have a conversation and see what's there to offer. So
Yeah,
it's basically those kind of thing which I try to build and to try to know as many as people I can, because if the marketeers know the pulse of the people, different strata of the society, so they can build the strategies accordingly. Is what I have always
yeah.
done, and I love networking. I love talking to people.
So,
Uh, uh,
so I think that's what I was coming to next.
hmm,
That like you said about the Uber driver thing, I think it's very
yeah,
a very good statement.
yeah,
But I feel that see, it comes very naturally to you because I've known you for so
yeah,
many years. I
true,
know that you take that interest in people's
true,
life. You try to, keep that relationship, be it for anything, be it for your, just you like it or for some other gains or for career networking, whatever it is.
true,
But it's difficult for someone like me because I like my own circle. I
correct.
think majority of the audiences would relate to this. Not
Hmm,
every, I will not say I'm an introvert, but I'm a big extrovert, like in my own circle. But I
correct.
don't want to go out and meet random people and probably talk a lot about what's happening. And
True.
that was my nature
Yes.
earlier. But I think as and when I grew more in the career, I went to Ireland. That is when I realized it is very important to keep talking to people, like you
Yes.
said, not with any benefits. I
Correct.
mean,
Just
just don't expect any, yeah. But you learn a lot from everybody's because everybody has had that like 5, 10 year ka journey from their
correct.
school life or college life, which is
True.
very interesting. Everybody has very interesting story to tell. So
True.
it's fun to learn about somebody.
Hmm.
And if there is a pet peeve or you're, worried about something, when you
Yes.
get to know, oh, this guy also went through this and
I
now
can
have
relate to it.
Yeah, and
Yes.
then you're calm, like, okay, yeah,
And both people might have had a different approach towards it.
yeah, yeah.
So how it worked out for them, karke.
Yeah, like if I ask you, right now we see you as a very, successful entrepreneur, or Viral Fission is doing great and all. But so right now, I think only few people will be able to relate with you. But if I
Maybe.
ask you, what were
Huh.
your struggles? Have you had any failed, ventures, startups early, or were there any struggles building up Viral Fission? And if you tell that story, then most of the people will be able to relate because most of the people are in that struggle phase.
Correct. So
And
I will tell you in just a little touch in the networking
yeah,
what I tell my community always. Now, example, this all are 21-year-old. Someone is studying engineering, someone is studying law, someone is doing business, someone maybe in medical field, someone at present a majority maybe in commerce field. Karke. Matlab, now we are looking into this segment. Now, 5 years down the line or 6 years down the line, if you continue this community or if you continue this conversation with your group continuously and maintain a
yeah,
good relation, every person will be different. कोई एक बड़ा lawyer बन जाएगा. Someone will
uh-huh,
become maybe an Netflix का some content head. Some person may become some anything, a manufacturer. Someone will become a businessman. And you will have these people as a network, and these are the
yes,
people who will help you in your growing years.
growing,
You
yeah,
want to do. कल को if I want a job in something, and if I know I have a friend there who can at least
yeah,
help me put up a reference, but if I'm blank slate, if I'm nothing,
yes,
I understand the difficulty in networking, but I don't when you don't have to do with any purpose. I mean, and
yeah,
if you don't come from a very elite background, the networking plays a huge part, I feel. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
that's a stepping stone to success.
yeah,
Coming to my ventures, which I will not call them failed ventures, but are ventures which didn't work out at all,
okay,
or which didn't, it was maybe way ahead of its time. So I had two experiences as such. And I feel by both were be, way beyond, way ahead of its time. And honestly, my these which didn't work out has taught me a lot more, or at least what not to do. At least
yeah,
ki I
of
know
course,
now what I don't have to do karke, because uh, at a very young age, someone had my one of my mentors only had told me कि if I want to step into something which is very challenging और मुझे नहीं पता या मुझे शायद उसमें failure भी आ रहा है, my mindset is कि I always go what is the max what can happen, what is the max कि क्या होगा, बंद हो जाएगा,
uh-huh,
it will fail, it
right,
will do anything, and at what scale it will fail. Okay, if only it's only you are involved in it and you have not involved someone else's career in it, then it's okay.
it's
But
okay,
if you are, I mean, but if there are people around it, then I'd be very more cautious about it.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
always think ki what is the extreme which can happen, and then I go beyond it. So I
yeah,
mean, I had opened one outlet which was regarding to churros, and it was in prime locations in Mumbai. And it was, I mean, we did it because just prior to that, one of my friends had, my brother, my friends had done a very famous waffles का उन्होंने franchisee लिया था, and that worked out pretty well. They all
okay,
earned. So our plan was कि हम अभी खुद का brand बनाते हैं ना, हम
हाँ,
खुद का ब्रांड बनाते हैं। अभी तो मैंने फ्रेंचाइज़ी लिया हुआ है, तो हम क्यों खुद का ब्रांड नहीं बनाएँ? हम खुद का
hmm,
ब्रांड बनाते हैं एंड हम उसको फ्रेंचाइज़ी में देंगे करके। It went
okay,
also for franchisee, but maybe way ahead of time. Maybe we didn't find the right consistency. Maybe the marketing wasn't good enough. But for some reason, it didn't work because the
okay,
place, the location, everything was good. So
hmm,
that was not a problem. It was not like it was not in the remote, because I have seen so
yeah,
many. We go to like coffee shops and all, which is in gullies of Bandra.
हाँ,
No
yeah,
parking thing, but we go there because वो fad create हुआ है. Maybe we were not successful in that, but that gave
yeah,
me a lot of learning about how retail marketing happens. So how much important is walk-ins? How much importance is even
yeah,
in walk-ins and footfall happens, but it does not get converted. So I lost the money out there, but it's okay. I mean,
yeah,
if it's again cut it. It's not okay to lose money, but for me it was like कि अगर मैंने वो MBA कॉलेज में या किस में मैंने
yeah,
I lost around, I mean, starting of 2 to 3 lakhs or something of those sort. But if I would have enrolled that in a course or any of these things, karke, I may not be able to learn that much, how much I might have learned in this failure. So I take it in that sort, because now once you have failed, you can't do anything about it. What can you? And and if you go in that loop of crying and introspecting a lot, then you will never be able to get up ahead of it. And that is what I never wanted to be in. So I was like, okay, fine, I
Okay.
failed, took it as a pinch of salt. I went, I did my job, I earned money back, gave it back to the, repaid my loan or whatsoever it is. And then I knew कि okay, this is something which I have not expertise in, मुझे नहीं आएगा, and I should not touch my hands into it करके. Then
Okay.
did my MBA, then was working for a consulting, but उसके पहले also was an online, करके हम उसका नाम लिबो रखा था, LIBO,
Okay.
listing and booking. It was back in 2014, 2015 कि जब हम
Okay.
yachts, banquets, turf just चालू हुआ था. Everything will be in one portal. I can book
Booking
direct.
for. Okay. Okay.
And but sadly at that time digitalization ने hit नहीं हुआ था. Now जितना Paytm, Google Pay सब हम कर रहे, it was more of cash or more of these. Online was not a very big thing out there. Book My Show just हुआ था and everything वो सब.
हाँ.
बट अपार्ट मेक माई ट्रिप था, बट इवन ड्यूरिंग आवर
Yeah.
मेक माई
Yeah.
डेज आल्सो हम फिर भी एजेंट से करवाते थे.
Yeah. Yeah.
नाउ वी गो टू डिफरेंट डिफरेंट, चार हम देखेंगे ऑनलाइन
हाँ.
ही
हाँ.
देखेंगे, लेकिन उससे हम मोस्ट चीपेस्ट
We
क्या
can.
है या मोस्ट एफिशिएंट क्या है वो करते हैं हम, करेक्ट. सो एट दैट टाइम वो सब नहीं था, एंड इवन हम भी 20 साल के थे यार. सो फॉर अस टू एट दैट टाइम एनविजन, एंड आई कम फ्रॉम इंजीनियरिंग बैकग्राउंड, उसको फाइनेंस का कुछ पता नहीं था. So now I didn't even need that time I didn't even know how to read a balance sheet. So now I know how all of these are so much important. Uh, Ki I should know these things, basic these things to start a business. Ki I should know at least my next 3 year projection should be. I should know the scalability of the idea which I am thinking. So all these terms ये मुझे
Yeah.
सीखने मिला है वो सब चीज़ों से, जो शायद मुझे एमबीए में भी शायद उतना सीखने नहीं मिलता. बिकॉज़ आई एम नॉट अ स्टूडेंट हू इज़ अ वेरी,
Yeah.
कॉलेज जाके मैं बैठूँ और टीचर जो बोलूँगा मैं सुनूँगा एंड आई विल गेज.
Notes लिखो.
हाँ, नो, एंड घर जाके मैं फुल उसको छापूँगा करके. मतलब आई आई मतलब उतना प्रैक्टिकल नॉलेज यू मे नॉट बी एबल टू गेट जितना
Yeah. Yeah.
प्रैक्टिकल नॉलेज आई गॉट इन माय दीज़ 2
Yeah.
वेंचर्स व्हिच डिड नॉट वर्क आउट वेल फॉर मी, वेरी ऑनेस्टली.
Yeah. That's interesting. No, I did not know about Lebo. I obviously knew about churros, and
Yes,
even I think it was a little way ahead of time.
yes.
Uh, it was a new Western dessert. I think that
Correct,
was introduced here.
correct,
Although it was shocking because, like you said, it was in a very good area,
correct.
strategically
Yes,
located, colleges around.
right. Yes.
Yeah,
It
but
can
yeah,
be, pricing नहीं चला उस टाइम पे या क्या नहीं,
uh,
don't know, but it didn't work. So we
yeah, yeah,
now if I introspect, I can say I can list down a lot of things, but at
that
20
could be better.
that time may not be able to
Of
give
course, yeah,
up
yeah,
at that time maybe.
yeah. That was interesting to know.
Hmm.
So I think we are running out of time now.
Okay.
So just wanted to ask you how was your experience at the podcast? You said you were nervous at it, but I think you started becoming comfortable. You
I I just didn't look at myself throughout the podcast. I was just looking at you, hearing the
okay.
questions. But I had a great experience. Very honestly, it just didn't feel like a podcast to me. It just felt
Yeah.
that we're just talking in English and a little of Hindi. That's the
Yeah.
only thing. Otherwise, it was
Yeah.
all a very generic conversations.
Yeah.
Also, would like to say I'm very, very, very happy that you're doing something of your own, because I know you since now what, 2011. It's been years now, 13 years or 14 years I know you, and I know how you have always been a hustler, and more than a hustler, you have always wanted to do something else,
Yeah.
uh, and something alag. And I have always known that, and I'm very happy that you're taken a step into that as well. And now you're networking as well, which a person like you who is for people who is listening to this podcast, you have no idea. Dhruv is a party animal. He is a star of the party and has always been a life of that group जो सबको ऐसा एक साथ रखता है करके. So for you, it's very natural for you to do something of your own. I'm very happy that you're doing something, and it was a lovely, lovely podcast. Very honestly.
Thank you so much for your kind words. You did not have to mention about the party animal thing. But lovely to hear good words from you. Like you said, I too enjoyed a lot. I did not realize, we spent 1 hour on it. It was like just any other conversation we would had, but more of professional talk rather than some
Yeah.
rubbish talks that we usually have. So yeah, it was great having you here. Great listening to your journey. Even I discovered a lot of new things I did not know about. So great to have you here. Thank you so much for making some time here.
Thank you so much, and I'm waiting to hear more of your podcast and also maybe feature into it soon.
Oh,
But
I'd love to have you back here.
always for you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rishabh.
So much.
Bye.
Bye.
And that wraps up our second episode of the Digital Edge podcast. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. Rishabh gave some wonderful insights into youth marketing, community building, and taught us how important networking is to succeed in your career. If you enjoyed the episode, please hit the like button, share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more such content. Thank you again for listening and see you in the next episode.